Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and I think this is one that might make you cringe a little bit. So I'm starting off in the craft journal, as you can see, and working on a page that has no clear gesso on it at all. So here you will see what I talk about when I say that the gloss sprays will just kind of sink in and disappear. I also wanted to share this with you because I did have a little bit of a disaster creating this page, and as you can see, the gloss sprays are puddling in the middle of the journal and right where the spine is, and this journal has got a bit of a wibbly wobbly spine, came apart a little bit, and so unfortunately the gloss sprays kind of pooled in the centre and did end up sticking some pages together. So I wanted to give a little word of warning about that, really, that look, you can see where it's leaked through there. Just be really careful, especially if your journal has already got a few pages in that make the pages not lie completely flat. But anyway, I persevered and carried on, layering the colours. So I think I went cheddar, and that looks like orchid or fuchsia, a bit of sky as well. And it keeps wanting to pull into the centre of the journal, so I keep mopping it up and thinking, that's all right, it'll be okay. And then I'm going in with, that definitely is Tangelo. Really, really vibrant orange. It's very pretty. And you notice that as the colours are settling, they are kind of dulling quite a lot. So the craft is altering the vibrancy of the gloss sprays. And then I'm just doing some splatters because I'm kind of thinking, oh my gosh, this is not going how I thought it would. I think this is rouge. Oh, there we go. More has gone in the middle. And that cloth is clean. It doesn't look like it, but it has just got so much paint on it, and it's been through the wash. It isn't grubby. It's just old paint. Clean old paint. I think sometimes when pages like this start off like this, you kind of think, oh, geez, I just give up. I should stop. But I decided I wasn't going to stop, and I'm using my right hand there, kind of pushing the page down to try and help the gloss sprays stay flat. Layering the colours, just keeping going, more and more and more colours, and I'm pulling them around using the stem of the gloss sprays. At the minute, it's looking a little bit of a mess. Right, this is where you see the disaster. So it's gone through to some of the pages that I've done, and I had to use the craft knife to cut these pages apart. Look, I could have cried when I saw this, but disaster. They are so sticky, and when those gloss sprays are wet, they do stick like glue. And then it leaked through there, but I got that one before it dried. So be really, really careful. That was one of the reasons I wanted to share this page with you, because of what happened with the gloss sprays. But you know, it was all right in the end, and I did rescue that page that had the disaster. So then I'm going in with this stencil using some white paint, and I'm going to start building up the stencil details on the page now. So this is a Dina Wakley stencil. I'm pretty sure it's called something like Medieval Crosses or something like that. It's one that I've had quite a long time. I can't honestly remember what it's called. I'm sure somebody will know, and if you do know, feel free to comment below. So this is where I'm going to start building up some interest in the background using different stencils. This page really was not going how I thought it would at all. This is a stencil called Marks, which is also from Dina Wakley Media, and I'm using permanent red violet light from Amsterdam acrylic, and again I'm just building up some of the detail in the background. So I'm turning the stencil so that the marks are not all going the same way, and I'm just layering up those patterns. So then I'm using lemon, and again using the Mark stencil and adding some of the sort of leopard print shaped spots on there. And here I'm using cheddar again using the same stencil. This is another Dina Wakley stencil. I'm using lime through these, lovely circle stencil. Again, this is one I've had for a really long time, can't remember what it's called. Then I'm using the same stencil and ruby, so you can see I'm just adding so much stenciling onto this background. Then I'm just using the end of my sponge with some turquoise, adding some squares onto there as well. Inspecting the damage there, it's nice and dry. So I know that I'll be able to repair that page because it's quite a simple design in the middle. It does get fixed, all is not lost. Again, just choosing a different shape stencil and going in with some blackberry. And these are the masks that come from the tropical set, which are from Dina Wakley. So please don't be cross, but I've got the black gesso out, look. I'm using, this page gets more bizarre, honestly, believe me. But it's okay in the end, pretty much, I think. So I'm just using these masks, and you can see that's quite a dramatic effect with those lovely colours coming through on the background. And I'm just adding these shapes on and using a makeup sponge just to get that black gesso in place. I like the black gesso, partly because it dries very matte, but also because quite often I lay my hand on it first before I can find the black paint. I thought I was going to leave those areas without any paint on them, and I think they end up completely disappearing. So I think I end up getting rid of them all, deciding it looked better without. So you might kind of think, why make that lovely background and then disappear it? But actually, I don't know. Sometimes it is just about the process. It's just so much fun creating the background and then seeing how it'll look when you only allow bits of it to pop through. So this is where you might think I've gone a bit stark raving crazy. I am now using a mask and going in with white paint and masking over the top. I wanted to see how it would look if I masked over the top of the masking that was already done. And the way to create that contrast that I thought might be quite dramatic was to use the white. So that's what I'm doing. I'm really just having a play and just seeing how things will work. It's that what if thing. Well, what if now I add white over the top of the black? And sometimes I don't always realise that I've done this until I start editing my videos and think, oh my days, why did I do that? And I don't really know why I did it, but other than I must have wondered, well, I wonder if it'll work if I do that. And what's the worst that happens is it doesn't work and it isn't quite how you planned, but does it really matter? Don't think it does, not really. So I'm just continuing to add more masking onto this page, and you can see that the white is coming into the foreground, and so it's a bit of a muddle at the moment, but it will all become clear. It's come a long way from those puddling gloss sprays, hasn't it? And it was nearly a disaster. So now I'm going in with the black gel pen, and what I'm actually doing here is I am outlining the leaves that are underneath the white masking. I can't explain why I chose to do this. I'd like to say there's a really good reason. I don't know what it was. I think, again, just playing with pushing and pulling things into the foreground and pushing them into the background and seeing what happens if you do different things. And can you make things come forwards when you've already pushed them backwards again? And I think this just shows that you can play a lot with the push and pull of the focus of your pages. Okay, so then I'm going in with a pit marker pen, and I am adding a heavier shadow around the edge of the leaves that I'm wanting to pull forwards. And you notice this does just bring them back into the foreground again. And then I'm going in with the stencil from Dina Wakley, which was called Things That Grow, and I'm just adding some of the spots from that stencil onto some of the darker areas, and also some of the turquoise blue Posca pen dots. This page changed a lot as it kind of evolved from the page that started off with those gloss sprays that were literally going everywhere, to all that masking. So a lot of the background did disappear, but I really did like the page when it was finished. So then I'm using my typewriter, which is really temperamental. I really do need to find someone to have a look at it for me and see what's wrong with it. I typed out some words onto craft paper because I didn't want black or white, because I felt it would not work with the black and white that was on the page. And there we go, that's the finished page. So really different for me. Lots of playing with pushing and pulling images into the foreground and background, but lots of fun to create. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.